Hail, the Bard here, and it's a cracking day in my lands. The sun is shining, the weather is clear, there's giant workmen outside getting ready to make loads of noise. All in all, optimum conditions for another cracking unboxing. And today, interesting times are upon us once more, my friends, because we will be taking a close look at the Overwatch Collector's Edition. Oh, long awaited in these lands, I can tell you. But the real question surrounding this edition is, were the folks at Blizzard, especially Metzen and his closest cronies, wise enough to listen to me and heed my warning, nixing the Soldier 76 statue idea in favour of including a grand and cracking statue of a dwarf? And the answer is no, of course they didn't. Blizzard are sticking to their guns. But that's okay, because I'm sticking to mine. Rightio and tally-ho, unboxing time again in my lands, and Overwatch at last. I've been looking forward to this one, as I'm sure many of you have been looking forward to it as well. Matter of fact, I've been looking forward to unboxing it a little bit more than I've been looking forward to playing it. Mainly because I've already played it and all the anticipation is simply spent. Now, quite a bit of the stuff listed here is not relevant to the unboxing at hand. See, this edition shares a lot of digital content with the so-called Origins edition, and that means these skins here, a lot of this digital stuff here. Oh, and Heroes of the Storm Tracer Hero, which is a complete fiasco, especially if you're playing Chromium. Those 1.5 second stasis traps aren't going to save you from that nonsense, I can tell you. But what we are interested in here in the unboxing realm is the traditional stuff, and this hits the trifecta that we've established of Collector's Edition content: soundtrack, artbook, and trinket. The dubious figure of Soldier 76. Now, I've made it clear before in the past that I have never seen a collector's edition with a really good figure, or even a decent one, come out of it. That said, I'm always looking for the exception that can prove the rule. Oh, and there's some postcards too. We'll get to those. So, what's the correct way to get in? Now, let's see. How does this go? Oh, hello. Very cunning, eh? Obviously, it's for pushing. There we are. Aye. Opens up just like that. Lovely bit of almost a mural of all the characters. There's the dwarf. Now let's have a look here. Soldier 76 gets his own sub box. Grand. A sub unboxing. It's very interesting. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there's his little sigil. I hope you can kind of see that on there. This box has very strong echoes of the Tracer figure, doesn't it, eh? Oh, wait. Aha! This is not a toy! Yeah, choking hazard, good. How deadly is it? Well, I guess Soldier 76 is a much safer figure than Tracer, which will kill you immediately if you so much as look at it wrong. Yes. Visual Sourcebook. Let's have a look at that straight off. Now, I love art books, and the art for Overwatch is alright. I wouldn't call it my favourite genre or anything. It's not sword and sorcery or anything grand like that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm just about to open for the first time, just random page, and we'll see what we get. The dwarf! It's an omen! It's an omen! Where's my dwarf? My dwarf is coming! Yea, it was foretold at the opening of the mystery page would be a dwarf, standing proud and true, an omen of things to come, of the proud future, the resurgence of the elder race. Oh, yes. Oh, look, this also prophesies the fall of the elves. Ah, yes, a metal disc case. Well, I'm not convinced this is really metal, so-called steel books. What's that all about, eh? Huh? Oh, yeah, it's got the disc in it. Postcards, great! But instead of a nice postmark with postage paid written on it, we've got an Overwatch symbol. What's the matter, Blizzard? Too cheap to afford Oz postage? China. Well, that's it? Just China? I see the tower in the background, but yeah, it's just China. Yeah, went on holiday to China, eh? What you see? China. Those are deserving of a closer look later, and there's some other whatsy-doovles here. But the best thing is a free hero, Jaina, for Heroes of the Storm, who I've been playing a fair bit recently. She's really good, bringing forth the ice, heavy on the magic. I already own Jaina, so I'm going to have this sealed in granite and sunk to the bottom of the sea. Oh yeah, there's a soundtrack. But Overwatch didn't really strike me as being a particularly grand soundtrack, but maybe on a listening, you know, can't believe Blizzard are still using demon saliva on their... No, the salival fluids were on the Black Crusade Collector's Edition, and that was Fantasy Flight, the Blizzard of board games. I sense a connection. Not bad, Lucio, and who else would you put on a soundtrack? Clear a little space. There we go. And now I'm going to pull Soldier 76 out of the box. Now, I have noticed, actually, that in the promotional material and on this box, that we haven't seen the word bronze. Was it bronze? I'm going to check. Aye, bronze. See, when they first announced the collector's edition, it was a bronze statue of Soldier 76. Bronze isn't on here, and it doesn't say made of bronze, but then again, it doesn't say it's made of toxic chemicals either, so the best way to get into this is, of course, the normal way. What's this? How to put him on his base. Cryptic instructions. This is a legitimate, proper figure container. It's just like Tracer, actually. Look, Overwatch symbol, same sort of configuration. And we do need the unboxing knife. I have many grand years of experience in opening boxes, so you needn't worry. I was trained by hidden monks in the unboxing arts, after all. Statues in here. Something's heavy here. Must be the base. Look at this hidden compartment. Cunning design. It is the base. Come here, you sod. Well, I'm no metallurgist, but this ain't bronze. Once upon a time, I saw a bronze Conan statue on display. Oh, magnificent. I wish I'd bought it. I'm pretty sure I couldn't bend bronze that easily. Let's pop him in there. Okay, Soldier 76, statue-like. We'll have a closer look at this later. I'm going to take photographs so that we can see. The weather's a little uncertain in these realms at the minute, so terrible. There's a baby crying, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Right, time for a tour of some of the most prominent stuff from this collector's edition, and we're going to start with the postcards. Now, there's King's Row. Yeah, looks nice. It's my favourite. It's a nice level, too. Now, honestly, there isn't much to say about these things overall, but I do think they look pretty, and I am nothing if not a man who appreciates pretty things. That's why my favourite non-dwarf characters are Diva, Symmetra, and Roadhog. Right, let's get down to the real business. A closer look at the Soldier 76 statue. Now, this figure is in a really interesting position, at least as far as statues and figures in collector's editions go. Because while I can't honestly say that I really like it, it's not that bad. Now, the statue's designers did something really clever here in embracing the implications of the word statue, and thus circumventing the kind of botched paint job that so plagued our friend Geralt from The Witcher 3. If they had allowed that kind of slapdash production line painting anywhere near 76 here, it would have been a complete disaster, and I would be moaning about it even now. But what they've given us is a real statuesque figure, one that gives up pretenses of a fancy paint job and lets the sculpt take centre stage properly, and lets the details speak for themselves, just as we see in many great actual statues throughout the land. Now, I'm certain there really was a legitimate intent to have this statue cast in bronze, at least at some point, but either the costs or something to do with logistics or some other trouble nixed that idea, and what we have is some form of plastic given a bronze-like finish via a nice quick and dirty dry brush, and that's entirely appropriate to the figure, and it does the sculpt a good deal of justice. Right, confession, I was initially very down on this figure when I first took it out of the box. I thought it was really dark and really bland and it looked a bit featureless, but when I took it outside, as I hope these photos show, kabab! The details are there and they are very good. Given the right environment, the figure kicks back enough light to make these details very clear, and there's very little in the way of dark nooks and crevices that obscure all these little features. There's even a nice little bit of verdigris going on in places. Overall, I think it captures the essence of the character, both in a lore sense and in terms of how he feels to play. In other words, the figure is strong, but boring. Now, that's a complaint that I myself had made about this statue before getting my hands on it. Basically, they chose the game's most boring character and put him in the world's most boring pose, and were about to cast him in the world's most boring metal. But that's the thing about Soldier 76. He's boring by design. He is the default shooter man, a real avatar of his kind. He's just a number, and that's the ultimate in generic dehumanization. Now, if you've played any of those awful military shooters that are popular these days, well, he plays like that. He is that. He has an assault rifle, an underslung explosive ordnance launcher, he sprints, he can take cover and regenerate health, sort of, anyway. And he is a gruff, faceless veteran for young men to project their heroic fantasies onto, and that's all right. He's also cunningly designed not to look specifically like anyone's dad. And you know what? That kind of makes him everyone's dad. He's the father figure for nascent Overwatch players. If you're a newcomer, he's your man. If you're not sure who to pick for your first couple of games, pick 76. Just like all the best dads, he will raise you to be a warrior, and you will soon outgrow him, and you will surpass him, and you will certainly come to resent him. He's strong, but boring, just like all the best dads. That said, well-adjusted people should totally pick anyone else. What I think we've got here is a statue that really embraces genericism in the same way that 76's design does. It's really the major strength of both. Generic soldier, generic father figure, generic hero, generic statue. It's not challenging, it's not interesting, it's not beautiful, it's not ugly, and I can't honestly claim that I like it, but at the same time, I can appreciate it. And that's more than can be said for poor old Geralt. And this abomination. Yea, I pronounce 76 reigning king of collector's edition figures. Still no match for figures that are made for purpose instead of just being adornments to a special edition of a game, but not bad for all that. Alright, I need a break. I'm going to go sit in my listening chair and have a go at the soundtrack. Not bad. Righto, main event of this collector's edition, the visual Sourcebook. Let's have a bit of a tour and a bit of a talk. Yeah, it's got a lovely little dust cover, I'll put that aside, it's not directly relevant to what's going on. Now, let's have a gander. This book is organised into 4 clear sections. Overview, heroes, environments, and credits. Of course, if it was published by Games Workshop, it would only have 3. Righto, section 1, page 1. Well, we can see right off they're serious about this visual sourcebook concept. There's nice sources of lore of the world of Overwatch alongside art, and neither are really competing with each other, but presented with equal regard, on most pages anyway. This is a nice splash, favouring the art. But near the centre of the book there is serious sourcebook genetics at play as we get some lore, some stories, with a little bit of supporting art thrown in. As you'll see, every hero gets a complete profile with prominent art. Very nice, not competing with other art, nothing's being shoved off to any borders. And it's also got some nice sourcebookery featuring, lore information and also mechanical information about their function in the game. It's grand overall. Oh, look out, there's McCree. Mister, it's High Noo-aurgh! In this book I do think there's a little too much of this sort of thing going on. I mean, screenshots that have been filtered through to look a little more painterly. It's much more prominent in the environment section, as we'll see. Yeah. Oh, there's my girl, Symmetra. Great. Just don't tell my other girl, Diva. Ne'er shall the twain meet. Oh, alright, the next couple of pages, completely beyond reproach. Absolutely perfect in every way. Wise and flawless. Immediately downhill. Oh, I can see you there, Tracer. Here we are in the environment section, and I think you can see what I mean about what look like screenshots that have been given a little bit of a painterly gloss. I don't really like it. It has a real artificialness to it, and I don't mean artifice of painting. I mean machined. The real problem is that this sort of thing pushes these lovely images off to the side. Now, I know they were given to us in the postcards, but it would have been nice to see them fully featured here all the same. On your bloody level. Now, while you get those ambiguous-looking screenshotty things I was talking about before, you also get this, that gorgeous image. Look at this lovely variation on the cyberpunk or post-cyberpunk, like pseudo-cyberpunk cityscape. That is a really lovely image. I like it a lot. Top-notch. The environment section really leans on its art. It doesn't seem to have much in the way of sourcebookery, no real lore to expound, just a little paragraph, a little bit of mechanical information maybe. And that's really kind of unfortunate considering the lower grade of environment art they've included. Not here though, this is lovely. So, visual sourcebook, eh? Not quite an art book, not quite a source book. So I suspect Blizzard didn't have enough lore to really make a full one of these, and didn't have enough art to make a full one of these. At least not that they wanted to release right now. And so what we got? Visual sourcebook that doesn't do either job, really. But it's still good. The reason it's still good, and what I really appreciate, is the fact that they've dropped all pretense of giving you a full art book in their collector's edition, and instead what they've provided is something that is completely appropriate to being an extra, an accessory to a video game collector's edition. And that's fine. And I like it. Well, here we are at the tail end of another cracking unboxing, and it's been a real pleasure sharing it with you. Very happy with this one, and I'm very glad to be able to say that finally I have encountered a figure in a collector's edition that is actually pretty decent. Now, before I go, I would actually like to share some codes that I was given within this box. I suppose the most fair way to distribute these is to limit it to 1 code per individual, and on a first-in, best-dressed kind of basis. Seems to be the fairest way. So I have 3 codes for free packs of Hearthstone cards, and they shall go to the first 3 people who leave a comment that says, "Well met." Even better than that, though, is Jaina from Heroes of the Storm, a code for her. You didn't really think I'd cast her into the sea, did you? And she shall go to the first individual who declares in a comment that all they ever wanted was to study. I can sympathise, Jaina, I really can. So incidentally, Blizzard, next time you're making an elaborate figure of a character, how about Jaina? Check out that sense of style. Flares and knee pads. Amazing. That is some Mega City 1 level fashion, and I'm all about that. Well, that's Overwatch Collector's Edition unboxed, and it's a quality game, I've played it, but its future is far from certain. I'll tell you one thing that is certain, though. I'll be playing a Blizzard game tonight.